well. Let me just see if we're live on YouTube as well. Can I remember how to do all this? It's been a whole week. I may well have forgotten how this all works. Are we also live on YouTube? Not yet. Have I actually forgotten how this works? Well, I imagine the microphone's off. The camera's probably not working. Is anything working? Aha! We are live on YouTube too. Shh. Slightly in the past, Kev. Just shh. Splendid. So we're live on YouNow. We're live on YouTube. Splendid. It's been a week since I've last done one of these. So thank you for those of you who've remembered that I exist. I know it's been a while. I'll try not to leave it so long before I do this again. This week isn't actually as busy as last week, so it should actually be relatively straightforward to keep to that promise as well. Little bit of housekeeping before we get up and running. As ever, if you are watching this over on YouTube, be aware that I can't see the chat over on YouTube. I can only see the chat on YouNow. So if you want to get involved in the Q&A element of this, you need to come over to YouNow. The link to do that is down in the description to the video if you're watching on YouTube. Or you can just go to younow.com/thelujo, either on the website or on the app, or however you want to navigate your way to YouNow. It's easy peasy to sign up for. Just set up a user account the way you do on any website. And then you too can get involved in the chat. So to clarify again, I cannot see what anybody is typing on YouTube. I can only see the chat on YouNow. So you want to come over here to YouNow. Normal rules apply this evening. I do have a full cup of coffee. Hold on. There's your proof that it's full. Untouched by human mouth. You've got the time it takes me to drink that cup of coffee to ask me as many questions as you want to ask on any topic that you want. I'm not guaranteeing I'll answer them, but I'll answer as many as I can get through in the time that we've got available. And yeah, what's my microphone gone weird? Interesting. So yes, camera quality is weird today. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. It's my fancy new camera, but it seems I don't know. Perhaps I need to fiddle with the settings a little bit more, because it was working really cool the first time I used it, but today I noticed when I was watching back the stimming video from yesterday that it kind of dropped in and out of focus every now and again. I don't think it likes the background. I think there's too much detail in the background for the camera to be able to cope. I think I probably need to move the whole desk like 2 feet that way, so there's more distance between me and the background, so it can separate me from the background easier. Or I might just start using a real camera again. I do use a real camera for most stuff anyway. Who's my favourite DC/Marvel person? Wonder Woman. It's all about timing. Don't ask a question when you're in full flow. Yeah. Damien, I don't know what you're saying now. Oh, what? You're suggesting to people to, only ask their questions when you think there's a good opportunity for me to answer them. That's a good tip. This is clearly a pro who's done this before. Where will Posh finish? Hopefully fairly low down the league, so Steve Evans gets a sack fairly early on, and then we can recover. I don't know, though. I mean, it's a completely new squad. There's like 3 players in the squad that were there at the end of last season. It looks like we've weakened the squad. Who knows? You should get a water fountain and you'd like it as a sensory item. What, like in the garden? Or does water fountain mean something different to what I'm picturing? I mean, he might like it. I think Dave would probably destroy it. Yes, Andy is awake. Andy's having his bath as usual. Whenever we do these, he's having his bath and then he'll be going to bed. Does he go to any summer clubs? He doesn't. He's with us for the full 6 weeks, apart from a couple of sessions at respite at the start and the end of the holidays, when he'll be away for a couple of days each time. Yes, he's still eating the Warburton's bread rolls. He's gone through, I don't know, since, when did he come back from respite? Friday we went to Skegness. So since getting home, realistically since Saturday morning, he's probably gone through 4 packs. And I think he gets 6 buns in a pack, so 24 buns in 3 days, 8 a day, plus waffles, plus crisps. Operation Fatten Andy Up is going well. We took him to McDonald's today as well, and he tried to eat 3 buns from there and just couldn't do it again. So we're moving him down to just 2 buns in McDonald's now, because he can't handle it anymore, because he's eating so much food. What's Andy's favourite film? The Snowman and the Snow Dog. I sent you a gift on Pokemon Go. Thank you. I know lots of people do that. I don't know if you're aware of how gifts and friends and stuff work on Pokemon Go. And I realise this is very niche. I'll be quick. But you can have up to 200 friends on Pokemon Go. I've got over 100 because so many of you sent me friends requests, which is awesome. But you can only open 20 gifts a day. So if you send me a gift, you might find that it's up to a week before I can actually open it, because the game won't let you open any more than 20 gifts a day, and it only lets you send 10. So, yeah, thank you if you've sent me a gift. I will open it eventually. How old is Andy? Andy has just turned 14 and Amy is 12. Basic questions like that, if anyone's got what they think might be a really basic question that we might have covered in a frequently asked question video, for example, there is a frequently asked question video on the channel. We made it a couple of weeks ago, so it's all relevant, all recent, all still true. So if you've got some really simple like getting to know us questions, they're probably answered in there. So that would be your best bet for questions about ages and stuff like that. Yes, there is a normal vlog tomorrow. Did I ever figure out for sure what caused Andy to be sick on his last day of school? I think it was probably just a migraine, but we'll never know for sure. We never know anything like that for sure. I should hope we are trending. We usually trend. That's why we like the Ask Questions category. I'm not brave enough to go in the YouTuber category at the moment, which I'm looking. The YouTuber category is trending as a category. So you can only be in one category. At some point, I'll be brave and try the YouTuber category and see if we can hit #1 on that as well. I'll be streaming on Twitch tonight at 9 o'clock. What's my favourite Flash comic? I haven't read a massive amount of Flash, so I guess I would have to say Flashpoint. But I haven't read a huge amount of Flash over the years. I haven't read as much DC as I would like. Generally, what I read of DC I enjoy, but because they don't have an equivalent of Marvel Unlimited, I can't really dig back through the back catalogue. I used to subscribe to a lot of DC books, and it was just costing me a fortune, so I kind of just pick and choose the trades now. I do support the LGBT community. I'm 15 from Wales and have autism. Awesome. Kev's plan nearly getting relegated under Evans. He gets sacked, then Ferguson comes in, has an amazing recovery to win the playoffs. That would be my dream, Tyke. That would be amazing. When did Andy last go to a church? This afternoon. And it will be featured on tomorrow's vlog, and it didn't exactly go to plan. What was the team I spent most time with on FM? What, this season or ever? Ever, it would be Posh. This season, Nuneaton. NXT was a lot of fun last night. I enjoyed it rather a lot. It's just a shame I wasn't allowed to take my camera in. And in actual fact, I was sent back to the car to lose the camera. So in the end, I just decided not to bother making a video about it. I did record some footage around Cambridge earlier in the day, because we got to Cambridge like mid-afternoon, did some Pokemon, did some sticker swapping, just generally were silly boys. If you've watched the video Smoothman's put out on his podcast channel, Bad Bookers Wrestling Podcast, I had to give him a wrestling chop to the chest, which was brutal. I'll show that on stream on Twitch in an hour or so. But yeah, you should go and check out the wrestling podcast that they've done, and I'm on their video, but there's no point in me making a video if I can't include any footage from the event. So hence we threw the Q&A together at short notice. Did he record a Through Andy's Eyes video? He did, but I'm still 15 videos behind on that. I will get there eventually, but it's finding the time to do stuff like that at the moment, especially with it being the school holidays, and we're trying to go out and do stuff every day. If you look back at the first week of the holidays last week, we went to Leicester, we went to Skegness twice, we did some other stuff too, probably 2 trips to Boston. It's really hard to fit in just my normal work, fitting in extra stuff for Andy's channel that ultimately no one's getting paid for. It's not a monetized channel. It's quite difficult to find the time to do that at the moment. Andy goes to Respite once a month for 2 nights usually, although he's been that one extra night in the last couple of weeks around his mum's funeral. What does Anna do in her free time? Plays games, watches TV, plays Pokemon Go. Mainly gaming. I am going on Twitch straight after this. What was it like when Andy stripped his clothes off in the co-op? Not great. How long did it take Andy to learn to read? It's difficult because he kind of just started reading. Not as in he's just done it recently. One day he could read, but he won't read to somebody. So you can't sit down with like a kid's book to him and teach him to read the way we would learn to read. I guess they have ways to do that at school, but we've never been able to sit down with him with a book and read with him. But you can tell that he can read because he'll just blurt something out that he's clearly read somewhere. So he obviously can read. I think he's just kind of picked it up by osmosis. It's quite impressive how he's done the whole learning to read thing. My YouTube screen looks absolutely massive, and I don't know why. A reminder again for those of you who are watching on YouTube, and I always look that way for YouTube. YouTube's over here. If you are watching on YouTube, I can't see anything that you're putting in the chat. If you want to get involved in the chat, you need to come over to YouNow. The link to do that is down in the description to the YouTube video, or it's younow.com/Leloujo, and then I can see the chat over here on YouNow, and we can chat. What music do I like? Generally indie rock from about 10 years ago. So I might have to update the definition. It might be 12 years ago now. But the likes of The Strokes, The White Stripes, Block Party, Arctic Monkeys, that kind of thing. My music taste hasn't really changed since then. Why does Andy like churches? We made a video on why Andy likes churches. You should find it on the channel. What's the best fidget toy? The one Andy likes the best is the little fidget cube. Does he like churches or level crossings the best? Churches. Am I streaming Nuneaton? No, I'll be streaming Long Lead to Legend. Nuneaton is just my YouTube thing. I'll sometimes stream a transfer window over on YouTube or an important part of the save, but I wouldn't do that on Twitch. I like to keep my YouTube save on YouTube and my Twitch stuff on Twitch. Arctic Monkeys are not indie. Of course they are, Tyke. What's my favourite Arctic Monkeys song? Fake Tales of San Francisco. What's my favourite TV show? NXT. Who's my favourite wrestler? Kevin Owens, because he stole my gimmick. Fat beardy guy. They're a massive band, not indie. I don't mean indie as in they're an independent band on an indie label. I mean it's indie music. Yee. And they weren't a massive band when I started liking them. They were new. What's the trophy on the left for? I don't understand. Whoa, the chat just updated with like 30 questions in one go. So I can only assume someone's spamming the chat. Can we not spam the chat, please? Because otherwise I just can't keep... Right, okay, you're still spamming it. Let's just block you. That's simple to do. Splendid. The trophy near the... Oh, near the pillow, that one. That is something somebody sent me. Which says, Kevin Chapman, Nuneaton Borough Legend, 2017 forever. To forever. There you go. And it's very cool. It's a commemorative coin. What's the next parenting autism subject? I've got a couple of ideas, and I can't remember what either of them are right now. God, what were they? This is why I should write things down. Because I was planning on ending the season of that and having the summer off. But then I thought of a really good topic. But I can't for the life of me think what it is now. It'll come to me midweek and I'll post it on the community page. Have I ever been... Where? I don't understand that question. When's the next PO Box opening? We went to the PO Box today, so it'll be on tomorrow's vlog. Did I ever want to be a real football manager? I'd still like to be a real football manager if anyone wants to give me a job. What's the weather like over here? It's still warm, but not as hot as it was, and it's been trying to rain all day. Do I watch Arrow the Flash Supergirl? I did, but then they got too much. When it was just Arrow, I loved it. When it was Arrow and Flash, I was still really enjoying it. I liked the first season of Supergirl. Legends of Tomorrow was just a bit iffy, and then it just got too much. It started adding too much. I can't commit to watching a superhero TV show 5 nights a week. So if they'd have just kept it as Arrow and the Flash, I'd probably still be watching it now as it is. Because of all the crossovers they do, I just gave up on the whole thing. I'm like 2 seasons behind on all of it, and I doubt I'll ever catch up, despite enjoying it so much that I still have my Arrow mug on my desk. But yeah, it's annoying. Will Andy ever take a GCSE? Maybe, but when he's ready. Do I watch Sheepdog's channel? Not very often. Sometimes I do. If he clickbaits me in, I do. But I don't really watch a lot, really. How do I tell my mum that my brother probably has autism? Exactly like that, if you genuinely think it's real. Did Anna get the job? We don't know yet. They haven't told her yet. Does Andy have a friend in school? He has kids he talks to, not really friends. Although he is, for the first time in his life, on Friday, going to a birthday party, which he's never done before. He got an invite from one of his classmates at school. He's never been to a birthday party in his life, apart from his own, which he's only had a couple of them. And they were just for family rather than friends. So it's going to be very cool to take him to a birthday party for the first time. New Aquaman and new Shazam movie look brilliant. They do. The movies I'm definitely still in on, but the TV shows I can't keep up with. How would I cope with a panic attack? I don't think I can answer that. I've never had one. I probably won't ever have one, I would guess, if I'm 36 now and I've never had one. So I wouldn't have the first idea how to cope. Aren't you supposed to do stuff like breathing into a paper bag and thinking? I don't know. Having never experienced it, I can't say. Do I go to Cardiff Comic Con? I don't. I only go to the two big ones, London and Birmingham, and kind of give the rest a miss. Am I going to play the Spider-Man game? I am going to play the Spider-Man game, probably on Twitch. Can Anna join the live stream tonight? No, because she's putting Andy to bed. Has he ever been invited to a party before? No. Favourite pop vinyl? Wonder Woman. Did I watch WrestleMania? I did, ages ago. It was alright. Distract you. There you go. Generalised anxiety disorders is giving you some tips for panic attacks. Which tram route in Nottingham does Andy go on? We park at the Forest Park and ride down to Old Market Square and then back again. So if that line has a name, that one. If it doesn't, that's the route we do. And of course we go up towards Hucknall as well to do all that stuff. Will I ever do an individual podcast? Probably not. I did the wrestling one for a little while, but I don't have time to. For me, I've been doing podcasts for 9 years now, and I've never found a way to consistently monetize doing a podcast. And ultimately, anything that's going to take up creative juices for me, with that being my job, I've got to be able to. It's got to earn its place in my employment portfolio. So if I can't earn money doing it, MGP, we still do that, and we haven't made a penny off that in about 2 years. But I do it because I enjoy it. I can't add another podcast to the mix that ultimately is going to cost me time and money to do, but not actually bring in any extra income. Can I do the New Day dance? I've done the New Day dance on the channel on our Christmas unboxing video. How long have I known Anna? Since 2012. What's yours, Anna's and Andy's favourite Pokemon? I can't speak for those two, but I don't really have a favourite Pokemon. They're just Pokemon. They're just numbers. I see it like as a spreadsheet box ticking adventure. You should do a series on how to start a vlog. I don't think I should. I don't think anyone would watch it. I did the series on how to do Football Manager YouTube, and no one watched that. I think there are channels out there that teach people how to do YouTube and how to do vlogs and all that kind of stuff. And if people want to find that stuff out, they go and watch those channels. I've rarely seen a well done, successful, highly viewed series of someone explaining how to do what they already do, which is weird, because you would think if you want to know how to vlog, go and speak to someone who's already a successful vlogger. But in actual fact, their audience don't care, because 98% of my audience have no interest in ever becoming a vlogger, so they're not going to watch that video. So it's like trying to bring in a whole new audience for 5 videos, where in actual fact that audience already lives somewhere else on channels that are about doing that. So there's no point in doing that. Best Wonder Kids to sign in the first season. I'm proud to say I never know the answer to that question, because I'm not interested in that. I only ever start in the lower leagues, and even if I was starting at a big club, I wouldn't go and sign the Wonder Kids that someone's put on a list somewhere. Would you do a video of my workflow? Again, I don't think that anyone would watch it. I think one thing I've learned in the last 6 months or so, my biggest learning point on YouTube in general, is that I don't have to share everything all the time. I'm a lot more careful when I'm creating a video now on making it a video that I think my audience would like to see. And like I say, I think 98% of my audience couldn't care less what my workflow is, so they wouldn't watch it. So there's not really any point in doing that. Do a house or office tour? Nah. When I'm not blogging or streaming, what do? Sleep. You should do a day in the life. I do a daily vlog. Every day is a day in the life. If you had the time, would you write a blog? No, because they're dead. They've been dead for 10 years. I have messed around with blogging from time to time, but it's done. Unless you're an exceptionally talented writer. Would you do a Draw My Life? Probably not. mainly because it's not 3 years ago anymore when people were doing that. Is my YouTube income going up consistently every month? Not even close. If anything, it's been going down consistently every month since about February, which is it's the shape of the year. It's how it works. The biggest time for YouTube ad rates is the build up to Christmas, and it reaches a crescendo in like mid-December when ad rates are so much higher than they are for the rest of the year, and then you get paid that in February. So my highest paycheck of the year came in February, and I'm now at the absolute low point. Views are down because FM18 came out like 8 months ago, and ad rates are at their absolute lowest because people aren't watching YouTube as much. They're outside enjoying the nice weather. As we hit September, ad rates will start to go up again. As the new game comes out, views will go up again. And at that point, I'll hit a peak again around December, which will get paid in February. It's just the shape of the year. It's never going to be... It will always be this kind of shape. And all I can hope is that each year, the high point is higher than last year's and the low point ends up higher than the year before's as well. I do have Instagram. I'm Leloujo on Instagram. What inspired me to start YouTube? I answered that in the Q&A that came out on today's vlog episode. Have I ever met anyone who's suicidal? Probably, but they haven't shared that with me. Will Posh make the playoffs? Hopefully not, because if we do, it's unlikely Steve Evans is getting sacked. I'm on premium. How much do you make from that? There isn't a set number. Apparently, it's more than we get from people watching adverts. Have I ever tried to get Andy into football? Several times, yes. Who's my favourite superhero? Wonder Woman. One ability I'd like to have. I'd like to have Wolverine's healing factor. I do like Marmite. Thoughts on Aston Villa? Don't really have any. What camera do I use for vlogging? I use a variety of cameras, none of which are in front of me now. My main camera is a Canon 80D. I also have a Canon M50, a Canon G7X Mark II. I've got my GoPro Hero 5. I use my iPhone, and I've got my drones. Does Andy know you're not his real dad? I don't think Andy even understands the concept of that as a thing. If Andy wanted to go to a sleepover, would you let him? No. Purely because he wouldn't cope at the moment, and he wouldn't want to at the moment either. He'd hate it. Do I miss teaching? Not really. Is your best ever... Is the best place ever... I don't know what that question says. Is my drone okay after hitting the rocks? Yeah, it's fine. It's just a few bits missing. It's fine. Amy is 12. If you could add any player to the Peterborough team, who would it be and why? I think I don't know if we've just got a lot of Posh fans in tonight, or if because the season's nearly starting, people are really excited about it. I'm less excited about this football season than I've ever been. I don't want us to succeed. I want the manager to be fired. I genuinely don't care at the moment. So I don't care. I wouldn't want to bring in anyone who'd improve the team, because then he's less likely to get sacked. Will Andy ever have the capability? There's no way of knowing. I don't know who's winning the Premier League. Where is the best place in the UK you've been to? London. Did you or Anna ever discover how or where Andy learnt French? Through Simpsons Hit and Run. He plays that game in French. But I don't know if that's where he learnt to count in French. He probably just watched some YouTube videos. I don't support a Premier League team. Andy is in bed still, or on his way to bed. I don't have a season ticket for Posh anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. Would I come to Cornwall? Probably not anytime soon. Just because it's a long way away. I've got about half a cup of coffee left. I'd have George Boyd back, but not under Steve Evans. I'd happily have him back as player manager, or under any other manager, but I wouldn't want Steve Evans to ruin him. How was Leicester? Leicester was alright. We were only there for a couple of hours. It was fine. Ow, just pulled a moustache hair out. That really hurt. I can see there's quite a few people watching on YouTube, so I'll just remind the YouTube crowd again, if you are watching on YouTube and you want to get involved in the Q&A, the only place I can see the Q&A is here on YouNow. So if you want me to be able to answer any questions you've got or see what you're saying, you need to come over to YouNow. The link is down in the description to the YouTube video, or it's younow.com/Leloujo. What phone do I have? I have an iPhone 7 Plus, I think it is. Can we come to Bridgewater? I don't know where that is. But I'm not, right, and now we've got Scarborough as well. I'm not answering questions about would I go places. I'll go anywhere if there's a reason to be there. If there's no reason to go there, I probably won't. Are you subs on YouTube going? I don't know what that means. When was the last time you went to Hull? This time last year. Would I shave my beard for charity? Probably not. I mean, I wouldn't do it for like 500 quid for charity. If someone offered 500,000 to charity for me to do it, then I would. It would depend on the amount. I wouldn't just say, I'm shaving my beard for charity and then see how much we make. It would need to be, right, if we hit this target, and I couldn't say now what the target is, it would have to be far more than we could raise without me shaving my beard. And I know that I could raise £5,000 for charity this weekend without shaving my beard. So it'd probably need to be at least 50,000 for charity before I would agree to shave the beard. What's my favourite thing about London? Just the busyness of it, the fact that everything's there. You don't need a car. It's just, I like busy city life. Why is everyone trying to get rid of my beard? I don't know. It's weird. Will I adopt Andy? Probably not. I've answered that one. Who do I think? I don't know. Will Anna adopt me, please? Probably not. When am I going to do my next 24-hour stream? Probably November, December time. How would you improve your YouTube channel if money wasn't an issue? I don't think I could. Money isn't stopping me from improving my channel. I do everything I want to do anyway. I mean, it would be, I guess, it's not necessarily improvements to the channel, as the content could be a little bit more varied if we had the money to just travel around the world doing cool stuff, obviously. But I don't know if that's necessarily what you're getting at with your question. Why won't I adopt Andy? Because he's 14? What's the point? What difference does it make? We talked about this on the Q&A that came out today about getting married and how it's just a piece of paper and how we might at some point, but it's no big deal if we don't. Same thing with Andy, really. If I was handed a piece of paper and told, sign this and you adopt him, then I'd do it. But I don't see the need to go through a whole load of hassle to be able to do it. I mean, hassle number one is we'd have to get his real dad to agree. And quite frankly, we'd both rather not have any contact with his real dad. So, I mean, he's going to be 18 in less than 4 years. He doesn't need me to adopt him. He's going to be an independent adult in 4 years' time, less than 4 years' time. Any advice on how to cope through getting diagnosed with high-functioning autism? Do you feel like you need help coping with a diagnosis? The diagnosis shouldn't change anything, really. It doesn't. You don't become a different person just because you've been diagnosed with something. It should be comforting. It should be an explanation. It should be an explanation of why your brain acts the way that it acts. I'd find it quite comforting. I don't know. Perhaps my brain works differently. How far are you from 100,000 subscribers? About 45,000 subscribers. Unless you mean across the two channels, in which case, and I do track that number, and over 10,000 across the two channels, so I can say I have 100,000 subscribers in total, which will be awesome to be able to say. Have I ever played for a football team? No. Does Andy know what autism is? We answered that question on the Q&A today. If he has no contact with his dad for 4 years, you don't need his approval. Not according to our social worker. Does Andy ever... No, his biological dad hasn't been involved since Andy was a baby. We know your brain works differently. Yeah, I know. I have been toying more and more with trying to get the autism diagnosis for myself. Just out of interest, really. I think it would be interesting to find out if I really do have it or if I'm just a little bit quirky. I'm interested. Why not take Andy to Butlins and Skegness? Because Skegness is like an hour away. We don't really need to stay there. Dream destination and why? What, for like a holiday? New York, because it looks awesome. Does Andy does like hugs and contact, just mainly with Anna rather than anybody else. Why does Andy not like having his hair cut? Sensory issues would be my guess. Have you got any advice for someone suffering with anxiety? Because Andy has it. just not really, because we haven't helped Andy by giving him advice. We've just tried to make his environment more comfortable and less anxiety inducing. So medication has been a massive help. And then we just try to prepare him for everything well in advance, so he's got less likely to feel anxious about it. But it wouldn't necessarily help someone else who suffers anxiety for different reasons. Has Andy ever hugged me? No. Which is fine. We're both fine with that. Neither of us are big on hugging. Why did your views have a spike in November last year? The back to school video, mainly. Amongst other things. I mean, there were a few videos that all took off at the same time, but the main reason was Fathering Autism got featured for a back to school video that they made. They got featured on the YouTube homepage in America, which is why, because this time last year, both us and Fathering Autism both had about 6,000 or 7,000 subscribers. But when Abby went back to school, I think, if I remember the story rightly, they were featured on the YouTube homepage in America, and we showed up in their recommended. So they obviously went stratospheric. They've hit 100,000 subscribers now, and we sort of clung on to their coattails and went along for the ride. So yeah, it all comes down to the fact that they were featured on the YouTube homepage. What does YouTube money get spent on? I don't know, Sherlock. What does your salary get spent on? Has Andy ever been grounded? No, but then he's also never been out on his own. Yes, he attends a special school. Ron, be whatever you want to be, but might I suggest you stop attention seeking, because you're posting the same sort of stuff over and over. Does Andy like headphones? He doesn't. My birthday's in July. Does Andy hate feeling different? I don't think it's something that he understands. I don't think he does feel different. Are you worried meltdowns for getting punished when he's older? No, because I don't think we'd let him get in a situation where he could get in trouble for it. I don't know. It's not something I've really thought about. I've never had a strike on YouTube, no. What's the worst punishment for Andy? He doesn't really get punished because, I don't know, to me, a punishment is something that you do when someone's deliberately, maliciously misbehaving. And I think Andy has very rarely, if ever, done that. So we don't really punish him. His actions have consequences, and he's always aware of what the consequences are in advance of choosing to take the actions that he takes. So I don't see any of what we do with him as punishing him. Would I ever go back to teaching? Maybe one day. How do you explain to friends about autism when they don't understand much of it? I just tell them it's a different way of somebody's brain working and point them towards some of my videos that explain it better than that. Generally, certainly anyone I ever meet does. I rarely, if ever, have to explain autism to anybody in real life, because usually anybody who I know has watched my videos, so they understand anyway. Anyone who we meet new, we're usually meeting because they've seen some of my videos, so they probably already understand it as well. Yeah, as Embrace the Spectrum says, you can't punish someone if they don't understand. Exactly. When do you think the vlog channel is going to hit 100,000? Hopefully by the end of the year. The last mouthful of coffee will be any time now, Ben. What did I think of computing GCSE? I think it was a good GCSE that wasn't taught very well in schools because most teachers don't understand it. What's Amy's favourite thing in the world at the moment? Oh, Andy's favourite thing. What? I don't know. You'd have to ask them. Do people with autism have to take medication? They don't have to. Is Dave my dog or Anna's? He's our dog. He's the family dog. We got him together. How did your family react to Andy when meeting him for the first time? They just accepted him for who he is, I guess. Lately, people keep asking me, why is it getting to be more and more kids? I don't know what you mean. What would your reaction be to hitting 1 million subscribers? I'd probably smile a lot and maybe set off a party popper. How long did it take to grow my beard? I don't know. I actually don't know how long it would take to grow from clean shaving, because I haven't been clean shaven, like properly wet shaved, clean shaven, for well over 10 years. The shortest it's got in that time has been like light stubble, and it can usually get back to this from light stubble in a week or two. I don't really time it. Sherlock, there isn't a rumour going around. You just post it a lot. Where's the name Roo come from? Because his name's Andrew, so rather than shorting it to And or Andy, just take the second half of his name, short it to Roo. How long have I been doing YouNow? A couple of months at this point, I think. What's my favourite game to play? Football Manager. That's why I made it my job. Right, we are in the last mouthful of coffee now, so if anyone wants to get their final questions in, now would be the time to get those final questions in. My Twitch channel is Lelujo FM, so it's twitch.tv/Lelujo FM. The link is down in the description to all my videos, I think. If not, follow me on Twitter at Lelujo, and I'll be posting a link to it very, very soon. People keep asking me about the rising level of autism and why it's happening. I don't know that it is rising. I wonder if it's actually we're just better at diagnosing it now. So, I don't know. I don't think it is necessarily rising. Statistically, there's more diagnosis, but that could just be diagnosis is getting better. Seeing as you ignored me on the vlog, I'll ask it here. Should cheese be on a fillet of fish? No, it shouldn't, Jack. What am I playing on Twitch? Football Manager. Give me a shout out in the next YouTube video. I don't do shout outs, I'm afraid. Is Football Manager the only game I play? It's not the only game I play. It's the game I play most days. What happened with Anna's previous relationship? If Anna ever wants to tell that story, she'll tell it herself. Favourite football player is George Boyd. Do I play Fortnite? I have played Fortnite from time to time. That was the final mouthful. Does Andy like Everybody Loves Raymond or Church is Best? He doesn't like Everybody Loves Raymond. He just uses it as a way of timing his morning. He knows that when the second episode of Everybody Loves Raymond finishes on Channel 4, the TV goes off, his shoes go on, and the taxi will be there within a couple of minutes. It's literally just a timing thing. It's a routine. Do I like Reddit? I've used it maybe once in my life, and I don't think I've ever posted on it. The vlog is out at 5 o'clock every day, Charlie. Does Andy have OCD? It's not diagnosed. Is Andy short? How tall do you class as short? He's taller than Anna. Right, we are going to end things there. So if you didn't get a chance to get your question asked tonight, then hopefully keep an eye on when I'm next here on YouNow, and we will do it all over again. For the next month or so, and I'm going to discuss this more on Twitch when I get started on there at 9 o'clock for those of you who watch both. For the next month or so, the schedule for this is kind of going to go out of the window purely because of the summer holidays. I will try to be back here on Thursday, because I don't think I've got anything on Thursday. I might be on before then. It might be later than then. Just basically keep an eye on my social media to know when I'm going to be live on YouNow for the next month or so. Once the kids are back to school in September, we will put a proper schedule in place again. But for both YouNow and Twitch streams for the next month or so, we're going to live in a world of no schedules, just because I'm going to miss so many of the normal scheduled streams that it seems silly to pretend I've got a schedule for the next month or so, when I'm going to be missing so many of them for Summer in the City, for Andy's Respite, for when we go to Blackpool, hopefully, for various things. So, yeah, watch this space. Follow me on Twitter or Facebook, and then you'll be able to see when we are live next. Chips ahoy! Thank you very much for that very generous bunch of likes that you've ended the stream with. And we are going to end things there, so I will see you all very, very soon. Toodle pip, folks.